was 5 o'clock, and Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco.
Oh.
When was Alan riding his motorcycle?
It's 5 o'clock. Alan is riding his motorcycle in San
At 5
Francisco.
o'clock, right? At 5 o'clock, Alan was riding his motorcycle. Was Alan riding his car? Or
No.
was Alan riding his motorcycle?
No, he wasn't riding his
Alan
car.
was
He
riding
riding his
his
motorcycle in San Francisco.
Where was Alan riding his motorcycle? In San Francisco. Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco. When was he riding?
At 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, Alan riding his motorcycle in
was
San
riding his
Francisco.
motorcycle in San Francisco. He was riding down Van Ness Street and came to a stoplight.
Oh.
Who was riding down Van Ness Street?
Alan
was riding down
Van
Van
Ness
Ness
Street
Street.
and come to a stoplight.
What was he riding on?
His motorcycle. He riding
On a motorcycle.
on his
He was riding
motorcycle.
on his motorcycle. Was he riding down Market Street?
No, he wasn't riding
not Market
on
Street.
Market Street.
He wasn't
He
riding
riding
down
down
Market
Van Ness Street.
Was he riding down Lombard Street?
No, he wasn't riding Lombard Street.
Wasn't
He
riding
wasn't
down
riding
Lombard
Lombard Street.
He was riding down Van Ness Street. When? When was he riding down Van Ness Street?
At 5 o'clock, he riding down Van Ness Street.
He was riding down Van Ness Street. Who was riding down Van Ness Street?
Alan.
5 o'clock. Alan was riding down Van Ness Street at 5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock.
Was he in a truck?
No, he wasn't in a truck.
Wasn't
He was
in a truck.
riding his
He was
motorcycle.
on his motorcycle. And he came to a stoplight.
Whoa.
Did Alan come to a go light?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
No.
He's
He
come
didn't
to
come
a stoplight.
go
No,
light. He came to a
Go light.
stoplight. We never say go light. We only say stoplight. Who came to a stoplight?
Alan's came to a stoplight.
Alan came to
on
a
a
stoplight.
stoplight.
What was he on?
He
When
on.
he came to a stoplight.
He on his motorcycle when come to a stoplight.
He was on a motorcycle when he came to a stoplight. Where was the stoplight?
Van Ness. The stoplight was Van Ness in San Francisco.
The stoplight was on Van Ness Street. Was the stoplight on Embarcadero Street?
No, the
Was
stoplight wasn't.
on
The
Van Ness
stoplight
Street?
were in Van
Van
Ness
Ness,
Street
of course, Van Ness.
in
The
San
stoplight
Francisco.
was on Van Ness Street. Who was at the stoplight?
Alan
Alan
as
was
a
at the
stoplight. It's 5 o'clock.
Which city was Alan in? In San Francisco, of course.
Yes, Alan
Alan was in San Francisco.
Yes, of course.
Where is Van Ness?
Van Ness was in
Van
San
Ness
Francisco.
Street is in San Francisco. Of course.
Of course.
Van Ness Street is in San Francisco. Is Van Ness Street in New York? Or is Van Ness Street in San Francisco?
Van Ness is in
Well,
San
of course,
Francisco.
Van Ness Street is in
San Francisco.
Where was Alan riding?
Alan riding down Van Ness Street in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. And he came to a stoplight. A
Oh,
red Ferrari pulled up next to him.
oh, referee.
Did the red Ferrari pull up behind him?
No, a referee doesn't
No,
pull up
not behind him.
behind.
The
A
red
referee
Ferrari
pulls up
pulled
next
up
to him. Pulls
next
up
to
next to him. Pulls up next to him.
What pulled up next to Alan?
A red Ferrari. A red Ferrari pulls up
A red
next to
Ferrari
Alan.
pulled up next to Alan. Did Alan pull up next to a red Ferrari?
Yes, Alan pulled
No,
up.
no, no.
Huh?
Alan didn't pull up
That
next
Alan.
to a red Ferrari. A red
A
Ferrari
pulled
pulled up
like
next
Alan.
to him.
Alan, this
Where did the red Ferrari pull up next to Alan?
a stoplight, a stoplight,
At
a
a
stoplight.
On
Red
Van
Ferrari
Ness
pulls up Alan.
At a stoplight on Van Ness Street, a red Ferrari
pulls
up
up like Alan.
next to Alan.
Literally.
Was Alan in a red Ferrari?
No, he
Alan wasn't
wasn't.
in a red
Alan
Ferrari.
wasn't.
He was on a motorcycle.
motorcycle. Lost
Alan was
his
on
car.
a motorcycle. What did the red Ferrari do?
Pulls up. Red Ferrari pulls up like Alan.
It
Pulls up
pulled
like
up
Alan.
next to Alan. The red Ferrari
pulled up like Alan.
next to Alan. The driver was wearing dark sunglasses. So,
Yes.
Alan was wearing dark sunglasses. No, not Alan. Alan wasn't wearing dark sunglasses. Who was wearing dark sunglasses?
The driver
The driver of the Ferrari. The driver of the Ferrari
was
wearing
wearing
dark
dark sunglasses.
Not Alan.
Not Alan. Yes.
The driver looked over at Alan.
Oh.
Did the driver look behind Alan?
No. Driver.
No.
Look
He
behind.
looked over
He looked
at
over at
Alan. Who looked over at Alan?
The driver is
The
car.
driver of the Ferrari
A Ferrari.
looked over at Alan. Did Alan look over at the driver?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Alan also looked over at the driver.
Yes.
Who was the driver?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise
is
was the driver. Alan looked over at the driver and realized that the driver was Tom Cruise.
Yes, that's so true.
Who was the driver of the Ferrari?
Tom Cruise driver
Tom
of Ferrari.
Cruise. Tom Cruise was the driver of the Ferrari. Who was the motorcycle rider?
Alan.
Alan was the motorcycle rider. And Tom Cruise was the driver of the Ferrari. Who looked over at Alan?
Tom Cruise looked over at
looked
Alan.
over at Alan. What was Tom Cruise wearing?
Dark sunglasses. Tom Cruise wearing dark
Tom
sunglasses.
Cruise was wearing dark sunglasses. Was Alan wearing dark sunglasses?
No, Alan
No, he
wasn't
wasn't.
wearing
Alan
dark
wasn't
sunglasses.
wearing dark
Tom
sunglasses.
Cruise wearing dark
dark
sunglasses.
sunglasses. And he looked over at Alan. Tom sneered at Alan.
Oh,
Oh no. Did Tom smile?
my. No, that's good.
No, he didn't.
No, that's
Tom
not.
didn't smile.
Right.
He
He
sneered
sneered at Alan.
at Alan.
Sneered at Alan.
Was Tom friendly and nice?
No, friendly.
No, he wasn't
Fine.
friendly.
He
and
wasn't
nice.
friendly.
He
He wasn't
sneered
smart.
at Alan.
He sneered at Alan.
Did
Sneered.
Alan sneer at Tom Cruise?
No,
Or
Alan, not
did Tom Cruise sneer
Sneer.
at Alan? Well, Tom Cruise sneered at Alan. After he sneered, what did Tom Cruise say?
Tom said, when's the light turn
He
green?
said,
Red,
"When the
red.
light turns green, let's race." After he sneered at Alan, Tom Cruise said, "When the light turns green,
Not
let's
race.
race." Did Tom want to race? Yes, of course. He has a Ferrari. He wanted to race. Alan said, "All right, you're on."
Oh.
Did Alan agree to race Tom?
Yes. Alan agreed.
Yes, he agreed.
He said,
agreed. He
all
said,
right,
"You're
we're on.
Did Tom say, "You're on"?
Yeah.
No, Tom didn't say,
No, this
"You're
time.
on."
Alan said,
Alan
wrong.
said, "You're on." Alan agreed
Alan agreed
to race.
To race, yes.
Who said, "You're on"?
All right, on.
Alan. Alan said, "You're on."
Wrong.
What did Alan agree to do?
The rain. Alan agreed
To
to
race.
race.
Alan agreed to race
Race.
Tom.
So,
He said, "You're on."
wrong.
Tom said, "I'm gonna smoke you, sucker."
Oh, yes.
Did Tom say he would beat Alan?
Tom
Yes,